Welcome to Why I Knit. My name is Rachel. I am your host. It is Saturday, May 9th, 2015, and this is episode number 21. Find listeners at whyiknit.com. You'll find me on Ravelry, where I'm known as Yarn Talk, and there's also a Ravelry group. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram as Why I Knit. If you are a new viewer, welcome to the show. If you are a returning viewer, welcome back. So, hi everyone. I hope you had a good week. Mine was a little bit weird. And we'll talk about that when I get to the life stuff. This one is actually going to be more me yapping than me showing. So I'm going to go ahead and get right into what I'm going to show you this week. And this is the only thing I have to show you this week. It's the sock. And yes, I've been working on this quite a bit. It's made a lot of progress since you last saw it. I've told you this a lot. 1.5s. And the yarn is HD Yarns in NYC Subway. And so yeah, I've made a lot of progress on it. I'm on the foot still. I'm hoping to get to the leg portion within the next day or so. But these are just going to be tube socks, so it won't be anything special for these. But the yarn I showed you last week, I'm actually thinking of deciding to do toe up because I feel like they're a lot easier. And whatever yarn I have, I can use that for whatever. I haven't decided if I'm gonna do a heel on those or if, like what type of heel I should say. If I'm gonna do a heel that I found in a pattern that will work with the toe up sock, or if I'm going to do an afterthought heel. I haven't made a final decision on that, and I won't make a decision until I start that yarn, that sock, and that probably won't be for another couple weeks. So yeah, this is the only thing I have to show you for this week. Because the table runner and the my mom's bag haven't made a lot of progress. Honestly, they kind of were pushed to the side a little bit when I got back from New York. But this week, I should say, this upcoming week, that's what I'm going to be focusing on a lot. So, that's my plans, is that I will be able to show you my mom's bag and the table runner next week. Speaking of stuff that I haven't showed you, and I really should, What's on the Hook and the Spin Zone will be returning next week. I had it in my planner this week to do some spinning and crochet, and stuff happened, and I wasn't able to do that. But that is my plan for next week, is to have that up and running again. Cue it up. This is my what I should be working on next segment. I won't be featuring it a lot, probably every other week. Starting now. Let's see. For Cue It Up this week, though, I really need to get moving on my dad's friend's grandchild's blanket. I haven't even ordered the yarn for that yet, which kind of sucks. Because the baby, I think, is going to be born in July, and it is almost mid-May. So I really need to get my keister into action about that. I think I have patterns picked out, but I'm not 1,000% sure. So I think this week I'm also going to dedicate some time to be basically picking out the pattern that I want, ordering the yarn, and then hopefully within the next week or two starting that up. So that's one thing. And then the next thing is that this I don't have to rush on as much, but I really should get moving on them too. Is in December, my mom, my sister, and I are going on a cruise. And even though where we're going on the cruise to, it's going to be warm most of the time, I figure it'll be a little bit chilly at night because it will be close to winter time. So I want to make some shawls, just as like a little accessory. I'm thinking of doing like a cotton wool blend. That way, keep us cool if it's cool out and keep us warm if it's warm out. But I think I'm only going to do one or two each because A, it's a Disney cruise, and B, I don't even know how many formal nights we're going to have. So, I don't want to pack too much bulky stuff. So yeah, next up is the sheep of the month. And this month's sheep is the Lincoln. And I actually pre-recorded this segment on, I think, Wednesday. So my shirt is going to be different. And the photo that you see for this month's sheep is from Wikipedia. And I have several links on the show notes to Etsy stores and breed websites that you can check out. So I hope you enjoy me talking a little bit about the Lincoln. It's not as long as last month's. I think it's like 2 or 3 minutes. But that's okay. Hopefully in June I will have a little bit of a longer sheep of the month then. So enjoy the sheep of the month segment on the Lincoln. The Lincoln can also be called the Lincoln lawn wool. It gets its name from Lincolnshire, which I believe is a town in England. The Lincoln's ancestors first appeared in the 1300s, and it is the largest of the British sheep. Unfortunately, though, it is considered at risk of being endangered because fewer than 1,500 females are registered in the UK for breeding. In 1891 in Michigan, the National Lincoln Sheep Breeders Association started. It is fast growing and high yield by weight. After processing, the yield is 65 to 80%. So, I guess a pretty decent size after processing. 41 to 33.5 microns. Wool should be strong and have a well-defined crimp to it. Lincoln wool should not have any color to them. Well, that is if it's a white fleece. But I guess there are colored fleeces available as well. Now, I have 2 websites to share for the Lincoln. One of them is to the National Lincoln Sheep Breeders Association, and the other is to the counterpart in England. So the US one is lincolnsheep.com, and the one for the British is lincolnlawnwolves.co.uk/breed.php. And so again, those two websites are lincolnsheep.com and lincolnlawnwolves.co.uk/breed.php. And I have three shops that I found that carry Lincoln wool. Two of them are fiber, the other is hand spun yarn. The first one is the EWEU for female sheep, and that is fiber. Stella's Fiber Farm, and that's more of like locks than comb top or roving. And Aspen Moon Arts, which is the hand spun yarn. So, again, I hope everyone enjoyed a little bit about learning about the Lincoln sheep. So, I hope everyone enjoyed this week's Sheep of the Month segment. Alright, I have some show news to talk about. This is actually going to be a good portion of this second segment. So here we go. As you saw at the beginning, I have a new opening title. I actually really like it. It's a little bit brighter than the old one. Thought the green was a little bit dark for my taste. And I really like darker colors because that's what my eye sees a little bit better probably. But I like brighter colors too. So that's going to be the opening title for a while, I'm going to say. Probably until at least the end of the year. So the next thing I've kind of hinted on social media, I think over the last week or so. And I talked about this a little bit on the live show as well. I am going to be doing a cow. That's a knit-along, crochet-along with Shelby from EIN Knits starting in June. We don't have a starting date quite yet. However, I should have that by, I'm going to say next week because June will be right around the corner before we know it. This is going to be a fingering weight cow, and I will have more information hopefully for you in next week's episode. Patreon. I'm not sure how many people have heard about Patreon. I'm going to say that it's very similar to Kickstarter, except you can, depending on the person who starts the campaign, they can make it monthly instead of like a one-time thing. I've started one for the podcast. There's a link on the show notes, so all the information can be found there. I'm gonna keep it up for the rest of May and all of June, and then I will close it for July, August, and beyond. But if it's successful, I will put it back up later in the year. But I don't want to do it for like too long, in case it's not successful. So, just go to the link that I post for Patreon and see if you're interested in helping out the podcast. I will say all the funding that I receive will go to hosting book reviews and yarn reviews. And if I have a little bit left over, giveaways. But again, this is just a trial, and we'll see if it actually works out or not. I was going to talk about something else, but I'm going to move that back to next week's episode. One thing I will say is the monthly planner update will be next week. And I'm actually very excited about this. I haven't decided if I'm going to show you my planner or not for that. But it will be decided once I make that final decision. And the last thing I have for show news for this week is that over the past couple weeks, I've been thinking about breaking up the podcast into seasons. Like kind of like how cable does it, and like regular TV, ABC, CBS, NBC, Fox, stuff like that. How they break up their shows into seasons. And then like Netflix with their shows, Yahoo with their shows, Hulu with their shows. I think about doing the same thing for the podcast, and I decided to do that. Numbering wise, nothing will be affected, but the playlists will be different though. Season 1 will be from episode 1 to next week, episode 22. So next week will be the season finale, and then the following week I will not have an episode. That way I can catch up on my knitting and stuff, and I can actually have possibly FOs to show you on the season debut, which will be May 30th. So, on May 30th, after the week, episode 23, which will be the start of season 2, will be recorded and uploaded. So I haven't decided whether each season will be 22 episodes. It's just gonna work out that way. I think from here on out, though, episodes will be a little bit shorter. Not episodes, I should say. Seasons should be a little bit shorter. They'll probably be about 16 episodes per season. Now, on the episodes, they won't have, it will just say like the episode number. But on the show notes, I will put in parentheses the season and what number it actually is in the season. And that's just for anyone who is curious down the road. So yeah, that's it for show news. I hope to have, as I said, a date for the Cow within the next week. I will hopefully have a giveaway in June. So yeah, it's gonna be a very fun couple of months coming up for Why I Knit. Alright, and last but not least for this week's episode, life stuff. And I said earlier that it was a little bit of a weird week because I was actually, I had a little bit of a roommate this week. Mom and Miriam, my sister who I've talked about in the past, and there's a extra video out with her in it. Went to New York City overnight earlier this week. That's another reason why it was like a really slow week for me. And they brought me back a couple of things. I think they brought me back a water bottle from Central Park Zoo. They brought me back a couple of notebooks from the Fountain Pen Hospital, which I talked about when I was up in Connecticut. think they also brought me back a watch. I think that's it. I think that's all they brought me back this time. They were only there for a day, so yeah. I feel really, really bad about recording videos for my writing vlog/blog. I really need to get my butt moving onto that again. I don't have a lot of time to decide whether I want to do a state fair this year or not. Because entries close on June 1st. I'm not sure yet. I really need to make a decision on that soon. Like within the next week. And finally, I've been bad the past like 2 or 3 weeks of not watching other podcasts, which sucks. So I think next week I'm going to have a lot of podcasts that I'm going to be watching or listening to in my What's New to Me podcasts and stuff. So, bad Rachel. Very bad Rachel. But yeah, that is it for this week's episode. I hope everyone enjoyed it. Happy early Mother's Day to everyone. If you have already celebrated it, I hope you had a good Mother's Day. Next week, of course, will be the season finale for season 1. And then I will, as I said, I will take a week break and then be back on the 30th with the start of season number 2. Again, everyone, happy Mother's Day. And happy knitting, spinning, crocheting, weaving. Whatever you do, I hope you have a fantastic week. And I will see you again next week. Find me on Twitter, Instagram, Ravelry. You know, I gave that all out. The beginning, show notes can be found at whyknit.com. And yeah, have a good week. Talk to you later.